Hey guys, you remember that vid I did a while back for how to be a Brony reviewer? Yeah, that was taken down. Don't worry, it wasn't because of hashtag WTFU, but more on the claims of accidental copyright issues that I infringed on a good friend of mine. This, of course, has been rectified and removed so that his video can get better reception. So if y'all still want more information on how to be a Brony reviewer, please go check out Aeon of Dreams video now. Meanwhile, I'm going to sit here and sulk like a sheep for what I did because it's what I rightfully deserve.
Shh. No crying.
No, put me down. Put me down.
Okay, how about a deal? You stop crying or I do the laugh.
You wouldn't dare!
Alright, gentlemen, weapons down. Despite how this seems, it was really all a misunderstanding, and given that it was resolved quickly and that Blissey is actually a really good friend of mine, the issue is dead, and I really don't take an issue with it. With that in mind, there's really no need for the firing squad to roll in. It's all good. Relax. I wasn't laughing, dearie.
You are maniacal sometimes, you know that? Sheesh. Why are you even here? I took the video down like I promised. Yours should be getting more praise now. So what's the problem?
Indeed, but my video shows a little bit of age, and while aged wine is nice, it's always good to restock with fresher flavors every so often. So how about a little deal with Lucifer for this, yes? You were interested in talking about it before, dearie.
That's an idea. Wait, Lucifer?
I have many nicknames.
Should I be calling Twink?
Who's Twink? Ooh, hoo, hoo. This reminds me of oh so many things which aren't kosher for this channel.
Twink, get back here! You coward! Urgh. You big jerk! You scared Twinkie!
Twinkies are delicious, but we're getting off topic here.
Indeed. So you want to do a recap on how to be a Brony reviewer? But what could I possibly have to offer that you haven't already said?
Dearie, I don't offer to make deals with any rotten soul. Humor me a bit. Besides, even I forgot things. One of those things is what we're doing right now.
Entertaining folks?
No, sweetie. Collabs.
Oh, right. Collabs, or collaborations if you prefer the longer version, which basically means two or even more people that come together to share with or reach the same goals. Also can be seen as a cooperation despite two or more parties could be on different sides of the same interests, which means some collabs can have a party that may agree with a topic while the other disagrees. There's great opportunity in this type of collaboration because it allows reviewers to hear both sides from the pros to the cons. But you will occasionally get those collabs where every party agrees too, in which case, when being a Brony reviewer and collabing on the same topic together, it gets a little challenging keeping the viewers entertained.
Not bad, but let's throw in this particular fandom for a second. Now, if you're a musician, getting noticed is pretty easy. Just go to EQD, I'm sure they'd love to put you on the front page. But unless you're more well off in the subscriber department as an analyst, then don't hold your breath. If anything, you'll be added to the nightly roundup as an afterthought with only about 30 more views to show for it. Your best bet is to make it in good with some of the more known collab creators in this part of the fandom. These are people who tend to make collabs frequently and have the drive and charisma to whip everyone into gear and get it out. Some more well-known examples of this are like Dr. Wolf, Silverquill, Golden Fox, people like that. Now, some of these guys have no problem occasionally throwing us plebeians a bone, but it wouldn't kill you to have a resume of sorts beforehand. Most people aren't willing to work with someone just out of the blue unless you're good friends with them. And people like Scorcher and potentially Silver often require that you're more well-established before you work with them. They want first-world luxury, not cheap Chinese plastic, if you catch my drift.
Which leads back to some of the former reports made by Aeon, which is to have quality in your content. If you can't make up for good quality in a video editing or mic editing, then you can do so in art ability or animation. But should all else fail, have a good winning personality or acting ability, otherwise you may not get far. Showing proof on your channel that you can in fact hold your own in a review needs to be seen if you want to be taken seriously in a collaboration. A good example?
Okay, let's get you some Starbucks and then we can make with the reviewing.
Oh, do we gotta?
Well, we can always do another drinking game. Every time you see Rarity use a gem in her designs, take a shot.
No, I want to live.
Get back here.
She may have had poor mic quality back then, but her personality always won out.
And then you have two sort of opposite ends of the spectrum for collaboration, although they both totally overlap. The social kind and the business venture. Now, the social kind is done mostly for the fun of it, and because the people involved are friends of some kind looking to have some social fun, so to speak. The business venture is more when the two of you, or at least one of you, is trying to get something out of it, more for profit and publicity rather than just friendly fun explicitly. Be ready to sign your soul on the dotted line for the guy with more subs here, because the benefit is most likely one way. For a business venture, take Dr. Wolf as an example. For signing the dotted line, you get some attention from his channel at the cost of subjects you won't even touch, nothing that could be even vaguely interpreted as mildly offensive in the script, and, speaking of the script, he'll have a Stalin's grip on it, if that's all worth it to you and he's offering.
Which brings me to the topic of the dreaded OCs. Despite what I said back in the former vid I created, I'd like to restate myself on the matter on OCs. The fact is, there really is no right or wrong way of making an OC, as long as it appeals to yourself and the audience you're trying to target. Some great tips and advice can be seen in Sweetie Bloom's latest vid on how to make an OC. There's also a video made by Ty and Daga and Dr. Wolf about the backstories of OCs as well. However, you don't necessarily have to have a backstory to make your OC or persona a success, but it doesn't hurt to have one to help your audience relate to your character. That being said, there can be consequences of the choice of OC you create. Best examples, like I stated previously, are those that possesses higher power, stature, or suggested color schemes such as alicorns or red and black OCs.
Just a thought, you're probably going to want to add backstory as justification for your non-standard OC, because choosing a non-standard OC is a lot like driving a smart car. No matter where you go, you will be questioned on it and have to justify it.
Why do we drive this thing?
Anyways, give yourself some credit if you choose an alicorn or red and black OC. It is no easy OC to take on. Two Critic has still not lived down his Shadow of the Hedgehog color scheme, nor have I yet to avoid the Mary Sue statements as of yet. You need to back up why you have such an OC, or have a very good charisma. That, or, as I've said, get a backbone and a high line of tolerance. Love and tolerate!
Something that Dr. Wolf and T and Daga didn't exactly cover in their video, which is related to this, is using your persona or backstory within your video. Because your persona is essentially how you come off to your audience, and it does play a role in your presentation rather significantly. But something that's really important about this is that some people don't exactly know how to sell their personality. So they'll shoot for trying to give themselves a lot of positive traits, and you know they're trying to convince you of them, but they don't exactly have the right personality or the right level of charisma to be able to pull it off. This isn't to say that you can't try doing humor and sarcasm if you're terrible at both, just that be warned, you may run into a lot of embarrassment, or you need to be ready for an uphill battle before you finally get good at that stuff. Also, it should be noted that in collabs where you aren't calling the shots, if you feel you have dominant personality traits, then you may have to make those bend to keep your spot in the collab, because like it or not, it's sometimes part of the deal. There are some sort of quasi-larger-than-life qualities, and these are usually things like charisma or intelligence or badassery that a lot of people would like to have these things, but you usually get them from trying to talk to the person directly and figuring out that they have them, and it just happens to bleed into their content in video making. And I would also say to avoid trying to convince people, if you really want these qualities, that you have them directly. This almost comes off as the personality equivalent of telling, not showing, because no one's going to believe you if you insist to people that you are these things. People like demonstrations of personality, not insistence on it. Also, trying to claim that you have them when you don't will just sort of make people look at you, and they'll take note of every time you aren't this, because you tried oh so hard to insist to people that you totally are this. Like I said, your personality will show it through better, rather than insisting that people see it. There are also other things too that are harder to rate with your character in terms of believability. Like, say, insisting that your unicorn is just a little bit better at magic than the others, that your Pegasus can fly further, or that your Earth Pony is just a little bit stronger. Now, I tend to find that if your personality is likable enough, and personality traits are demonstrated, then people probably don't mind humoring the idea of you being slightly above average. After all, the other stuff is kind of hard to demonstrate. There may be some reasons that you might have them though, like say, not to be biased, your unicorn is like that because in real life you study occultism or some kind of art or science. Or maybe your Pegasus is faster because you're a track sprinter, or maybe your Earth Pony is stronger because you're a bodybuilder in real life. It's really hard to rate this, though. So I would generally say try more to sell it on the idea of being likable first, and people tend to mind less if you're just a little bit above average, typically. Your personality will sell it better.
Yeah, like I'm not afraid to face up to Aeon here. I'm one of the most powerful alicorns in the community. I'll take you on any day!
Yeah, well, I'm a strong stallion who's unfeeling and eats his meat blood red rare. My magic is stronger than normal because my fanfic said so. Bring it on, Lucy.
Compared to the mighty morphin powers of the alicorn dimension, you have no chance against me. I'm like a goddess.
Yeah, well, my above averageness is better than your above averageness.
Well, I have rainbows on my butt!
Yeah, well, I drink my coffee black.
Nobody takes me seriously. I can't even do magic right. I'm the worst alicorn to ever exist. Only time they take me seriously is when I'm carrying a Gatling gun.
You're the only one who knows I exist who isn't in limbo.
That's not true. A lot of ponies notice you. You're one of the coolest unicorns around.
I take you seriously, though, even without the Gatling gun. Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Yep. So the way you go about with creating your OC and backstory is entirely up to you. There is no right or wrong way to do it, whether it be vectorized, original sketch, pony generator, or even a doodle. It's entirely up to you, just so long as you accept the consequences of your creation.
And now we have to address a sort of elephant in the room when getting into analysis.
But Aeon, I don't do analysis, I do reviews!
Analysis tends to always be in a review. It doesn't have to be. It's possible to review without containing any analysis, but a review can contain analysis, and like it or not, even though it's technically incorrect, we are called the analysis community, so that's why I've been using it interchangeably. But whatever. It's relevant here for this next point. The community is quite oversaturated by a large group of people trying to sell you the same thing, and it's not really working out for them. To give you an example, I can throw you into what is the original Rift by Lineage, and I guarantee you wouldn't recognize a single name in it. Now, if you do this for fun or social reasons, then this probably isn't as important to you. You may want to pay attention just to have a little bit more reach, but if you're gonna go into reviewing, you're gonna probably want to have a personality we haven't seen yet, or for analysis, you may want to come from a specialized area or background rather than do the general looks at something, or only doing a general look at something. Because we already have about 20 people who do this already. There's not really a demand for another.
For instance, Aeon stands out with his knowledge of philosophy and occultism. I am more prone to rely on my emotions and life experiences. Superquill leans towards facts and examples from previous ideas, combining humor. Sweetie will focus on the ecological natures of a review. Even Dr. Wolf plays on the persona of being a doctor, even though he's not. But he authentically can pull it off because he's easily approachable with his personality and making others feel comfortable around him, which is probably the most well-known in our community, a likable personality. There are so many of us who have these abilities and traits, and because of that, it is getting hard to find originality amongst the many of us. But don't let that get you down. Remember, if you're doing this for fun or for social experience, then you will go far. After all, you never know until you try. Who knows? You just might bring something new to the table.
There is a further point of reassurance too. Everything that was said about everyone above is broad, and there's always room for more than one person if you're unique enough. Take me. I'm the last of the philosopher analysts and the only occult one that I'm aware of, but both these fields have so many schools of thought there's no way that I can do them all justice, which would allow someone else to fill those holes. Overpopulation and oversaturation is really only a problem when you have two people trying to fill the same hole, so to speak, in the same way.
But hey, you just never know what you do until you try, and look inside yourself. Remember, above all else, have fun with it. Twink! Down, boy! Down! Down! Twink! Spit him out! Right now! Now, Twink! Do it! Do it!
Again.
You are one sad, strange little pony.
Live fast, make it last till the past is all you have left. That's what they tell me. Like a wolf, survive the night. I'm still alive and chasing down till it catches up with me. Whoa, and I return into the light. Can't you see?
Everybody waking up early just to worry about the stress that was yesterday.
Can't you see?
Everybody hides behind a phone cause they're too afraid to say what they need to say.
Can't you see? That life is just a game, and all you gotta do is play.
All you gotta do is play.
Can't you see? Everybody making days so one day they can pay just to get away.
Can't you see?
Everybody trying to be unique and spend on a trend just to look